focusing on the wall that's in front of us.
Hey, Gunny, one question. Do you think, but is it an issue that you have to be almost exceptional to succeed? Like, why do you have to because look at all the words you're using: broke down a barrier, overcome, jump through hoops. Why does it have to be like Candyland? Isn't that the point?
In a sense, yes, you have to be exceptional, but that applies to every single race, because you can look at poor whites. You can look at it does. Why are there so many poor white folks out there? Why are there so many poor people of other? It's based on your character, and it goes back to how you were raised, and it's based on who you are. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I was just saying, as Black people, we have to be 2 and 3 times as good to even get a foot in the door. That's the difference between Black people and white people. White people have the ability to go ahead and be mediocre. Chaotic, please fix your face. They have the ability to be mediocre and they can move forward. But as Black people, we have to be overly educated. We have to be the elite. We have to be the only person. We have to be the superstar. We have to go above and beyond to go ahead and to be invited in some of these places. I didn't know I didn't know that about Bank of America, Adrian. Thank you for sharing that. But even with that, when it comes down to our home ownership, like, it's difficult for us to get loans. We are declined simply because we are Black. White people, a Black person going in, a white person going in for a loan, we can come in there with the same stuff, but the white person is more than likely to go ahead and get that loan. And it could be going back to culturally, right? We don't want these Black people having X, Y, and Z. They don't want us to advance.
So, Alex, let me ask you a quick question then. Can you tell me an Asian stereotype? An Asian stereotype?
Yes.
The Asians are what?
They can't drive.
Asians are smart.
Asians are smart. Exactly. They've earned that stereotype. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that pressure. Nothing wrong with it.
They earned that stereotype.
So what? We have to be 3 times better than everybody else. It's not like we're the only ones that have to be like that.
It's not appropriate to say so what. I should, if we are coming to the table with the same credentials and the same things, why do I then have to go ahead and have to be 2 and 3 times better than the other individual? Why?
Because we're a conquered people. That's why. We're a conquered people. White people conquered this country. Whether we like it or not, we have to assimilate to white culture. That's the way it is. Whether we like it or not, that's the truth. So we have to be better than them. We have to be. That's reality.
Let me get one more point.
Can you read the super chat for me? You want me to read it? I'll read it. Raj Girl with the $10 super chat. Hey, Raj, you've been showing a lot of love. I appreciate you. I blame the Black elite. You niggas move to their neighborhoods and beg your kids to be schooled by whitey, then say we have nothing when we gain success. Build your community. I'm staying in my own. Okay.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
All right. So what I wanted to say was, Gunny, I feel like I'm with you in terms of how we move forward. That's how we are going to have to look at it. But how we move forward and the reason why we are where we are at is 2 different things. There hasn't been enough time for the majority of us to be able to do it. Even when you look at home ownership, a lot of us are first generation still. You know what I'm saying? Before we even got into ownership, whereas them, they had generations and generations of it. They've always known how to live free. We don't even know how to live free yet. We haven't even been free long enough. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it hasn't hit the majority of us yet. Now, we can take it 400 or 500 years from now, and it's still like this, then okay, cool. But I'm with you too. Like, we definitely need to do better and be accountable because we see the things, we see the things at the way that they are. And I think Black people are doing better. We are having more business owners. You know what I'm saying? We are supporting each other more. There's still different obstacles that we have to face. But again, we got more business owners. We got more homeowners and things like that now than we've ever had. So we're getting there. The progress is just not going to be swift, especially when they are still attacking us, right? They are still doing it to this day. So
let me. You good, eh? I want to get.
I ain't drinking today, so I ain't gonna get all. You know what I'm saying?
Can I broke something Alex said to him?
You hit? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This myth that Blacks have to be 3 times better. She could be right, but I have a counter to that. Hugh Jackson black NFL coach. He's one of the worst NFL coaches of all time. He repeatedly was hired to be head coaches of football franchises. Hear me out. He had the worst record in NFL history, if I'm not mistaken, with the Cleveland Browns at 0-16. Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, and Ketanji Jackson Brown are the worst appointees, if you ask me, in history of any president. Ketanji Brown didn't even know what a woman was. This is supposed to be a Supreme Court justice. That doesn't seem like she's 3 times better than anybody. Kamala Harris, I mean, let's be honest. What has she really done as vice president? I don't think she's, other than Spyro Gyro, I think they've named her one of the worst vice presidents of all time. She ain't 3 times better than nothing. Hold on for a second. Let's be honest. McCain versus Obama, a war hero versus a junior senator. Obama wasn't 3 times better than McCain, but Obama won the presidency. Lori Lightfoot, she's not 3 times better than anybody, and she had a disastrous mayoral incumbency to the point where she was the only mayor in Chicago history to not get reelected for a second term. Marion Barry, who was he 3 times better than? He's my fraternity brother. Nigga was
the best mayor alive. Well,
smoking crack in a hotel somewhere. But last but not least, hold on for a second. Let me read something to you guys real quick. Do you guys know who Don Thompson is? I didn't think so. Don Thompson was the CEO of McDonald's. During his tenure, McDonald's faced challenges, including increasing competition. During his tenure, McDonald's faced challenges, right? It is worth noting that evaluating the performance of his... Hold on for a second. It was noted that he was not a good decision maker. His leadership style was terrible, and stakeholders were dissatisfied with his CEO. That's why he wasn't hired again. Blacks are not 3 times better than anybody a lot of times, or at least from the way I see it. But go ahead, guys. So,
hey, let me just get the super chat real quick. Mr. Gary Grant with the $22 super chat, Canadian dollars. In 1965, there was only 2 black millionaires. In 2023, 1,800,000 black millionaires. I think we have overcome. The only freedom we are missing is all in the mind, mental slavery.
Wow.
I got one more.
Real quick,
Yeah. Let me just get this last super chat. You finish, huh? Finish off real quick, and then I need to get Q in. Chris Creative, $5 super chat. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you. The problem is decision making. 73% single parent households, 7,600 average black murders per year, high youth crime. No one is doing these things to you. Go ahead, Kat, make the last point. Now let me grab Q. Go ahead. Now we might have to discuss this right here. Go ahead, CT.
No, and back to Don Thompson. While he was the CEO, they had McDonald's had declining sales, and nobody talks about that. So this whole myth that blacks are 3 times better or have to be 3 times better, I don't know where that comes from. A lot of blacks are handed positions, and a lot of blacks fail at these positions, and nobody talks about it. But I'm the Negro whisperer, so I will whistle blow when I have to. But back to that guy real quick in that commercial. Thank you so much, J Riddle. J Riddle with the $10 super chat says Japan was nuked twice, and their country has the number 3 economy. Germany was split in 2, the number 4 economy. Both countries were conquered, which is true, and in 70 years their countries flourished. How much time will it take? Well, their work ethic is impeccable in both countries, particularly in Japan, even to the point where people commit suicide in the hikikomori culture in Japan. Thank you so much, Jay Rule. I know you would know about that. And also,
let's not forget that they also got a lot of U.S. government dollars too.
And so have blacks.
Let's talk about that.
But they're also their own country. Like we can't they're also their own country. We're in a country where we are discriminated against. And with
I've never been discriminated
systematically done to oppress us. So we're talking about with blacks in somebody else's country versus people who have their own country where something happened to all of them and they are all on the same page. That's a huge difference, guys.
But Mr. White, respect, to explain a country like let's say, for example, Liberia, that gets foreign aid from the American government. They get foreign aid in billions every year. How do you explain Somalia? They got $10 billion under the Biden administration. Why does it still look like biblical times over there?
Again, I don't know who's running the stuff over there, but my point was to why we are struggling here. And
are you struggling?
Anything consistent or close to what we as Black African Americans here have to deal with?
So you made $100,000 last year. How are you?
It doesn't equate.
Sir, my good brother, yeah. You made $100,000 last year. How are you struggling? A Ukrainian was getting their face blown off, and you were making $100,000 last year, and you're driving a Land Rover. How are you struggling again? I'm curious. You drive a Land Rover, right? What are you driving?
Nope. I drive a
BMW.
Nah, I got a little what you call it? I can't even think of it. Little Kia Sorento.
Okay. I'm curious. How are you struggling, by the way?
I didn't say I was struggling.
Oh, okay.
I'm not struggling either.
Yeah. Peace.
And we out.
Thank you guys so much.